Hello, here's Vanessa again. I'm in my herb garden and I'd like to take you in another herb walk and focus on a specific herb that I really like, and it's called stinging nettle. And here it is. There's a cluster of stinging nettle. I have a few clusters growing in the garden. I actually planted them on purpose for medicinal and culinary purposes, of course. So the stinging nettle, as it says already, it stings, and the little needles are on the stem and also on the leaves, of course. The root of the stinging nettle is a rhizome, and it grows underneath and connects underneath. So if you plan on growing stinging nettle, I would suggest grow it in a confined area. Otherwise, you have it all over the place. It takes over. But of course, if you have a large property, then it doesn't matter. So, what about stinging nettle? What are the nutritional values? It has, first of all, a lot of chlorophyll, which already is shown by the dark green of the nettle. And that means it has vitamin K. It has iron, calcium, zinc, chromium, magnesium. It's rich in minerals, but it also has vitamins A, C, D, and of course K. It's considered an anti-inflammatory, and it's an immune booster, a fatigue killer, a hormone balancer, a detoxifier. It has a lot of benefits, medicinal benefits, and this year has been established, like it has been researched, so you can look that up. But my purpose today is to tell you what you can do with it, how you can use it medicinally and culinary. I do harvest my nettle and hang it upside down in clusters in my kitchen, let it dry. When it's dried, I take the leaves off the stems, put them through a food processor to make them really small. It depends on what I'm using them for. So if I use them for adding to smoothies and drinks, then you want it really, really fine. If you use it as a tea, then it doesn't have to be so fine, and you can fill it into little tea bags, you know, and use it that way. I also use nettle for nettle spinach, and I even serve it to my guests, the ones who are interested. It's always an option in the spring, especially around Easter time. A traditional day where we used to eat nettle or spinach for the first time of the year was on Maundy Thursday, which is the day before Good Friday. And in Austria, they always made nettle spinach. You know, nowadays they probably just eat plain spinach. So when you cook the nettle spinach, and I'll make a little movie about that too, it doesn't wilt like the regular spinach wilts. It stays the same volume when you start cooking during all the cooking time, so you really get what you harvest. Another way of using nettle is for your garden. You can take the nettle and put it in a huge pail, fill the pail up with water. I usually take the old nettles, you know, the real tall ones, and put them in a huge pail, fill it up with water, and let it steep in the sun or wherever you want to put it, doesn't matter. Just let it sit there for a couple of weeks. What you get is a very, very smelly tea. And this tea I use to fertilize my plants, an amazing fertilizer. You can also fill it into a spray bottle. It gets rid of pests, garden pests. And what I do with the rest, you know, the soup that's left over with all the nettles in it, compost nettles in it, I take it and I put it in my compost. And what it does in the compost, it attracts the red wiggler worms, who actually speed up the process of your compost. And that's a real big secret. Another funny story, in Austria, people with arthritis, and I don't know, please don't take my word for it, but it's a nice story. With arthritis, they used to strip naked and go into a field of nettles and just roll in it. And they swore that it would help their arthritis. So these are old medieval methods, but hey, maybe it helped them. So we'll talk a little bit later in a while.